Hi, this is Shell of Shell's Creations, and today I'm going to show you how you can use my alpha doodles to create an alpha. The ones that I'm working with today are the chunky serif letters, and rather than go through and create the entire alphabet, I'm just going to create a few letters that will work for the title on a layout that I'm working on. And so I have the lowercase number 1 set loaded, but I removed some of the letters and put the capital B and the lowercase u so that I'll have I'm going to spell the word blue, and so that I have what I need. But the procedure is the same. You would just need to go through it for each one of them. The first thing that we need to do is create a clipping mask that we can clip our colored paper to. And so choose the selection tool, and I want to go through and just select the insides on each one. Make sure that you have this add selection option checked. And just check on the inside of each one. Make sure as you do this that when you get to I and J each time, that you select both the J and the dot on top. There are other ways to make the same sort of selection, but I find that this one consistently gives me the right thing, and I don't accidentally leave the center of the P in or the center of the B in or something like that. Okay, once you have all of them selected, we're going to go up here under select, and we're going to modify expand. Now we're only going to expand by 2 pixels. I want to get into that black area but not go beyond the black area. So let's expand by 2 pixels. Now I want to fill a layer, but I want to do it below this doodled layer. And so if you hold down Command and click on the Create New Layer icon down here, we're down here in this bottom part down here, it'll put a new layer below the layer that you were working on. If you don't hold down Command, it'll put it above. Command will put it below. And then hold down your Alt and your Delete key, and it will fill that layer with whatever your color is. Alt or Option on a Mac and backspace will fill that layer. Then I'm going to hold down Command or Control D to deselect. Okay, if I zoom in here so that you can see what I've got here, now I have that selection filled in, and you can still see all of my doodle. Okay, that's the place that we're going to clip our color to. But the style that I'm teaching you how to create today, it's going to have a white outside around the outside of it, and so we're going to hold down the Control key, and on this layer thumbnail in the layers palette, I want to click on it. That'll reselect what we just had. I want to create a new layer again below that, so hold down Command and click on the Create a New Layer. This depends on about how wide you want it to be. I'm going to choose to modify expand. Let's try 20 and see how far out that goes. That's about how far I want it to be. Now let's over here on our foreground and background colors, if we hit D, it'll take us back to the default colors. Now I want white first, so I'm going to hit X, and that will change it to white. Okay, now if I hold down the Alt or the Option key if you're on a Mac, Alt if you're not, and delete, and it'll fill that selection with white. Now Control D to deselect. So what I have is a white edge, my doodled edge, and then I have my clipping mask. Now this time I want this solid blue, so I'm going to double click on the solid blue, change back to my move tool, and drag it down onto my alphabet. It looks like I need to move it up above and then clip it to my alphabet layer. Okay, and there we have it. There's our alpha. And one of the things that I found that adds a little more oomph to it is to kind of darken the edges a little bit. In Photoshop, this is a simple thing to stroke around the edge of it, but stroking around a path in Elements is not one of the features. So let me show you a quick way to accomplish that. The first thing I want to do is clip this paper layer to my alpha. Control and E or Command E will clip that to it. Okay, now we want to select this layer, hold down Command, and click on the colored layer. And then we're going to go up here under select, and we're going to modify and contract. Let's contract by about 40. This is going to depend on your alpha exactly what you want, so you might have to do a little trial and error. So let's try 40. Okay, and then let's go to same thing, select, modify, or above modify to feather. And you want to feather about half, maybe a little bit more. We'll go 25 of whatever you contracted by. Okay, now we need to select the inverse. We're going to go down to this layer that's our colored paper and hit Control J. What that will give us, I'm going to erase this layer so that you can see it. It just gives us a fuzzy edge of our whole thing. And we're going to change the blending mode on that layer to multiply. And we're going to lower the opacity on it. I never like it above about 30. Looks like about 23, 24, somewhere around in there. Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like without it and then with it. It just kind of gives a little pop to your letters. Okay, that's how I would create an alpha. Now I want to use this on my layout, and I'm going to show you without chopping it all up officially how I would offer it for sale. I want to show you how we do that. So the first thing we need to do is merge our visible layers so that we have everything on one layer. Now I'm going to drag that onto my layout. Okay, using your rectangular marquee tool, choose the letters that you need. I need the B, and then hit Control J. Reselect the layer that's the entire alphabet. I will need the U, hit Control J. Reselect the layer that's the entire alphabet. I will need the L, Control J. Reselect the layer. This process is a little bit faster than it would be for us to chop up the entire alphabet, especially if we only needed a few letters from the alphabet. And Control J. If you purchase one of my more recent alphas, it will say in the description that it's set up to work with the Flurgs Alpha Cutter Saver action. If you purchase one of those, it might be faster to go ahead and chop up your alpha, but otherwise this is probably your best way to go. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Move tool and make sure I have Auto Select Layer box checked. And now I can go in and move these letters around to exactly where I want them. I'm going to change the order on them, put the E, then the U, and then I'm going to highlight all of those layers. Shrink them down just a little bit so that they'll fit better in my space. And then the only other thing I need to do is to add a shadow to them. I think I'll copy the shadow off of this layer. Right click in your layers palette and choose Copy Layer Style. That will make it so that I can add the layer style to all of the to all four of the letters at the same time. I highlight all of those layers and again click on right click, choose Paste Layer Style. And there we have it. That's how I would use the Alpha Doodles to make an alpha. If you have any questions, remember you can reach me at shells.creations1@gmail.com. Thanks.